Today I want to talk to you about mistake number 3. Stop chasing those shiny pennies. Now, it's a Thursday morning, which is where I talk about past experiences in business property investing. So I decided to kind of turn the first batch of episodes into a series of mistakes that I've made over my journey, and hopefully it will be useful and some of you will be able to avoid the same mistakes that I've made. So what do I mean about chasing those shiny pennies? Well, this is something I've been hugely guilty of in my business journey. And what we basically mean by this is you're always chasing the next shiny penny, the next way to make money, the next opportunity. You often, judgment gets masked by the thought of these shiny pennies as opposed to actually what goes into these opportunities, or what goes into the work to actually make these shiny pennies a realization. And when I look back over the years, you look at the number of opportunities and ventures, partnerships that I've started, just because I thought, yes, this is going to be a get rich quick scheme, or I'm going to make it with this. And very, very quickly, the failure rate is so high. I mean, I got at least a 90% failure rate, I'd say. At least for every 10 opportunities that I pursue, 9 of them will fail. And that's historically. I think I'm better now simply because I don't take on so many. But when I was fresh out of university and trying to build my business empire, there's books called The Power of No, and it's a hugely beneficial book, and I'll talk to you more about that in another episode. But there's a reason that it's called The Power of No, whereas all I used to say is yes, let me have it, I'll do it, and it comes back to bite you. And I think when you break this down, why do people chase shiny pennies? Well, I think it's mainly due to a lack of clarity. Now, I'm currently going through a book, High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. Book I should have read a long time ago. It's been on my wish list. Never got around to reading it. And high performance indicator number 1 is clarity. And there's a reason it's number 1. Without clarity, everything else will happen either without purpose or it will be a distraction. And it's really important. I mean, if I look back at of all my businesses that I've been involved in, the property one, and even then, I always, when I taught clients in the past, coached them and mentored them, etc., it's always been about not spreading yourself too thinly. And that's purely because I've been there and done it. I mean, even in property, you could argue it's all the same business. I started as no money down through sources. I went into single lets. I then went into lease options and learning no money down strategies with lease options. I then went into HMOs. I then went into service accommodation. I then went into developments. Okay, this is a natural progression of somebody in property. However, I'd never really nailed any of the strategies. And as a result, I talked to you about my scattergun approach, about having properties all over the place. Talk about the heights of making 18, 19 grand a month. I'm less than 10, significantly less than 10 at the moment. And but what I do have now is a real clear plan and clarity for how I'm going to bring myself back up to milestone number 1 is back to 10k a month. Milestone number 2 is 25k a month. And I know it won't grow further than 25k because that will give me everything I want in my life and more. And most importantly, it will leave, hopefully some decent wealth onto my children and their children's children, which is one of my highest values. But I have a very clear plan of how I do that. I'm now spending more time reducing the size of the business, removing inefficiencies. I'm investing on courses with accountants to help me improve the profitability and the efficiencies in the business. So it's not just about chasing the next sale, but I've got that clarity now. Maybe 18 years too late. However, I don't regret anything that I've done because it's led me to where I am today, and I'm very thankful for where I am today. There's been ups and downs, but everybody's had ups and downs. So there's no feeling of sorry for myself or anything in that regard, because I'm very happy to where I am and very happy where I'm going. But I'm more happy now because I've got that clear plan. When I look at my previous business ventures that I I'll try and do an episode on each of these in the future, but I've started a property sourcing company. I've started an overseas property investment company. The property sourcing then migrated to selling overseas deals. We then were trying to sell units in block of flats developments from partnerships that we created. I then bought and owned a pub, which was an absolute nightmare. That kind of got me into service accommodation, so I suppose there is a bit of positivity from that. But yeah, nightmare running a pub remotely, of all things to do with that. The amount of cash that moves in a pub environment. It's not like your fingers on the pulse, you get burned. I had this will make you laugh, a sunscreen machine that we were selling into European holiday resorts. You know, I don't know how we thought we were going to take off with that. You know, and the logistics and side of things, shipping these big units across Europe, probably weigh close to a ton each. So that's another one, which is I've had an overseas property that I've purchased in the US, and I was going to grow a portfolio over there. Another crazy idea. I've had a spread betting business or trading business, options trading business. You name it, I've had a go at it. I've had a matched betting business through gambling, which is trying to play the odds and find little loopholes to make a guaranteed profit. One of my good friends does that today and makes a lot of money out of it, but his main focus is that. Morning. Thank you. So yeah, I've dabbled in so many different things, and bizarrely the only one that's still standing is the property business. So and the reason that's still standing is because it was built on a massive asset base. Whenever there's been trouble, I've had the assets and the equity to bail myself out. The other businesses didn't have those assets, hence they no longer exist. So there's a lesson to be learned there. And again, I'll do a separate episode about the importance of building your asset base. It's all basic stuff, but I think it's always good to refresh. You know, I find these episodes quite good for me as well. They refresh things for me and make me take different action in my business, which is, you know, just an extra bonus. So yeah, so hopefully this has helped. But just remain laser-like focused. The people that generally perform the best are the ones that have got not just clarity, but laser-like clarity in terms of a niche and then a micro niche is kind of where they're focused on. So, you know, for example, this Runpreneur blog is not just for runners, or it's not just for entrepreneurs, but there's massive market. It's for entrepreneurs who like to run, and that's a micro niche. It's a fairly big niche, I'd hope, but it's not like going after every entrepreneur or every runner out there, where the markets are huge and very, very competitive. This is quite a small, uncompetitive market, which is what I'm going at. But I still make the mistakes of lack of clarity. I mean, if I'm brutally honest with Runpreneur, it was the acceptance of a challenge that my mentor sent me, and it fits in with my life. It's more like a hobby. Now, hopefully, it will create some trickle down revenue into my other business opportunities that I work on. But I haven't got clear clarity for the Runpreneur blog, I'm not going to lie. But I'm really intrigued to see what this social experiment can bring to the table. And the reason I'm doing it is because it's so transferable with everything that we're doing in the other businesses. You know, on this content repurposing machine, all these side of things that I'm going to transfer across into the other businesses once it's finished. It nearly is now. So again, that's the reason to do it. But again, that's an area that I do have a lack of clarity. In my property businesses, I'm very clear in what I'm trying to do and trying to achieve, and I'm very clear in my prioritisation process. And I know the roadmap, and I know the blueprint that's going to get me to those 2 milestones that I talked about. So my clarity is there. But the main message is if I'm summarising this thing is read The Power of No, because that will make you think very, very differently. But remain focused and really sit down and take some time to have a clear and planned goal or milestone that you're aiming for. Reverse engineer it back, how you're going to achieve it, and be laser-like focused on how you're going to do it. And look at your niche and say, is this too broad? Is this too competitive? Do I need to micro niche further? Because the biggest, I suppose, misconception is people think that, my micro niche is too small. It's rare to come across against come and go back into micro niche that is too small if you market well. Morning. So that's something to consider there. So laser-like focused, micro niche, and don't get distracted. You know, I have a separate list which is for future opportunities now. Anything that comes to me, I put it in there, and then every quarter I'll review whether I have the capacity to take on anything new, or whether I want to, or if that's needed to reach my target. And if it's not, I don't do it. So I think there's a real lesson here, and I've lost huge amounts of money, huge amounts of sleep, a lot of stress and overwhelm from taking on too much, when the reality is business isn't easy, and quite often the easiest part of the business is day one. It gets more difficult every day, and when you realise that, and the work that goes into creating a 6 or 7 figure business, you'll start to realise that you cannot physically take on too much until you fully systemise something and it is producing a passive income, which is why my property business has survived, pure and simply because it's a systemised business. My involvement in it is next to nothing. So my focus is on Runpreneur and building the second property business. So yeah, there's a lesson to be learned there. If you're going to venture in to become a serial entrepreneur and start multiple opportunities, multiple ventures, make sure you systemise one before you move on to the second. So sorry it's been a bit of a waffly episode, but hopefully I've got my point across and how really, really important it is. And don't underestimate the cost of not doing this right, because it's absolutely vast. And when I actually looked deep down into it, the development that nearly wiped me out was because of this. I'm chasing shiny pennies. I should never have done it. So yeah, don't make the same mistakes as me. Hope you found this useful. As always, any comments on this, please comment, like, share, and any questions or anything, just drop me a line and I'll either respond as quickly as I can, or I'll record a separate episode where I give it the full focus and attention it needs. So as always, stay positive, stay happy, see you tomorrow.